What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another vintage Star Wars market update. I've got prices for mint on card as well as packaged items, vehicles, things like that. I don't cover enough vehicles and packaged items and play sets and mini rigs, so I did find some recent sales here recently at the request of a few subscribers. So we're going to dig right into those. And let me also say that I've helped a number of owners of nice collections find a buyer for them. So I just do it to help out the community. I'm not getting paid or asked for money or anything like that. But if you need some help getting your vintage Kenner Star Wars collection sold, or modern items too, but mainly vintage stuff, let me know. You can reach out to me by email, which is actionfiguregrader@gmail.com, and I'll see if I can help you. I know a number of buyers for vintage stuff, and I just try to help people out where I can. I just helped another collector sell some stuff, and it's mint on card to loose or whatever you got. And but let's go ahead and dig right in. We got some really nice items here, everything from 12 backs all the way to tri-logo. I even snuck in one graded Star Wars video game. Here is a 12 back B Darth Vader. It's ungraded, but it came in this acrylic case, and you'll note that it's got a pretty significant amount of litho tears in the upper left hand corner. That's because someone probably tried to take that price sticker off. If you've got a vintage item, guys, don't take the stickers off, because that ruins the grade on it and really devalues it too. I mean, whether you're a grader or not a grader, whenever you go to resell it, it's much better to have the original price stickers on there and not mess with it versus doing what this owner did or the previous owner before him did and try to take it off. It just really devalues it. There are services out there that do it. I know of my buddy Matt. He had a rare square card Meccano Luke Farm Boy, and he had his price sticker on there, and he actually got this service to do it. And I know a number of my subscribers have mentioned that they do it regularly, but me personally, I would never touch it. I prefer to keep the stickers on there. This was so I think with that sticker, with the litho damage, this is probably like a 70 grade at best, but a beautiful 12 back. It's really, really nice. And that one sold for $930 on February 1st with 45 bids, so a lot of bidding action on that one. 930 took that home. Now, what's interesting is a 12 back C that was high grade sold right around the same time as this one. So this is an earlier card back, but worse condition, right? And a 12 back C just sold for, that was an AFA 80 sold. What do you think the price difference was from a 12 back B that's about 70 grade to a later 12 back C that was very high grade in AFA 80? Well, I'm going to give you a couple seconds. So this one sold for $930. The AFA 80 12 back C sold for $3,650. So about four times what the ungraded 12 back B in worse condition sold for. So that just shows you the demand for these 12 backs in high grade. Now, the interesting thing is that the card score on this one, the sub score was an 80. And it's very clear to me anyway that the price sticker had been manipulated or kind of picked at. And again, if you got a nice card like this, don't play with the sticker. Just leave it as is. Don't try to pick it off like that. I'm surprised that AFA gave that card score an 80, given that it's very clear that there's kind of a little bit of manipulation going on trying to take that sticker off. But that's what they gave it. I mean, it looked like an 80 grade card to me. It had an unpunched. It was unpunched. The back of the card was absolutely flawless. Really nice. One little bit of edge wear there, down the bottom and on the sides, but I mean that's a beautiful card. Anyway, 12 back C AFA 80 that sold for $3,650 on 40 bids on February 6th, so about 3 days ago as of the making of this video. 12 back C unpunched Jawa. It was only an AFA 70, but I would argue that it presented a lot better than the typical AFA 70. It sold for $1,199.99, so about a little over $1,200 after factoring in shipping. Now, how did it get a 70? Well, if you look at the front, I mean, it's an unpunched, really beautiful example. This is the square bubble with the inner tray Jawa. I don't know all the different 12 back variations, but I know there are a lot. But the issue is on the back. You can see there's quite a bit of edge wear all the way around on the back of the card, and that's why it got the 70 grade. But I would argue that, looking at it from the front, this presents way better than your typical 70 grade. So I think that's why people were willing to pay up a little bit for that one. And it's like what I've talked about. Not every grade's the same. Not every AFA 70. If you look at this AFA 70, right? versus that Vader, that 12-back B Vader, that would probably get the same score. There's no comparison. One of them's unpunched with no litho damage. This one's got very minor crease in the corner, bad litho damage, and was punched, but it would probably get about the same overall score of a 70. So it just shows you that, you know, that there's a premium to be paid, and you really need to see what you're getting for that grade. So it's just something I think about sometimes because I'm a loser and a nerd. But here is a really interesting one. This was a 1978 TIE Fighter. It was no grade, but the reason it was no grade, and it's explained by the seller in the comments below, is that early on, AFA would not grade any boxed vehicles like this if it was opened. And now they'll do what's called a qualified grade or Q grade. If it's opened but never touched on the inside, it's 100% complete and it's never been played with. You know, all the bags are sealed, all the contents and that kind of thing are in there. So here's what he said. He says, later when AFA was founded, I sent this to AFA and they put no grade, but verified all contents as original and sealed. And if you look at the CIB that he got, so this was graded August 3rd of 2007. And it says, contents are verified as new. Condition appears to be approximately AFA 80/85. And you'll see it's authenticated there by Tom Derby. Now, you could resend this back in, and they would grade it qualified grade, 80 or 85, depending on what he finds. But it's never, you know, this is the original issue TIE Fighter. This is a very expensive item. Maybe not the original, but it looks like it to me. It's a 78, and it's got the long play logo. So this is a very early TIE Fighter. And it's still sold for $1,749, which I would argue that if you got that regraded and got a qualified 80 score, it would sell for quite a bit more than that. So I think whoever bought that, they would be wise to probably send that into AFA to get it regraded, qualified grade. So here was a beautiful, beautiful 20-back G Princess Leia. This seller sells quite a bit of high-end stuff, and his prices are always, in my opinion, really high. But he apparently commands some pretty nice prices, and I don't think that this is a fake sale by any means, because it is a gorgeous 20-back G Princess Leia, AFA 85, 85, 90, 85. I mean, that's a big number, big subscores on that. It sold for $5,000 plus $95 shipping. I mean, who knows? Who knows what the real value is? In my opinion, what the market says that it's worth $5,000. To me, that seems really high for a 20-back, but that's high grade, and you're going to be paying big money for high grade. But I just wonder what this would sell for in an auction. I bet it would sell for quite a bit less than $5,000. In an auction, I bet this thing would be $3 to $35, and I'm no expert on 20-backs or 12-backs or anything like that, just because the price point is so far out. It's so far beyond my comfort level for spending, so I don't know these prices that well, but for those of you watching who maybe do collect 12 and 20 backs, I would love to know your thoughts of what you think this 20-back G AFA 85 case fresh Leia would sell for in an auction. And my gut says it would be in that $3,000 to $3,500 range tops, but what do I know? Here is a 21-back A Death Star droid AFA 80. I was very curious to see what this one would sell for. I've got this one at grading right now. I think it's the A back. I can't remember. Mine's not going to get an AFA 80. It's got some litho damage on the front of the card, but this was a beautiful example. This one was at auction. It had some sticker residue there on the front of the card, as you can see on the Star Wars logo, as well as on the name pill. But man, that is a beauty. It was punched again. The sub scores were, let's see if I can find that there. Sub scores were 80, 80, 85. So very, very nice high grade 21-back A Death Star droid. That sold for $10.25 on free shipping. I thought that was a great deal. In the current environment, great deal. You know, you try to pick this up at Hakes, you're going to be paying $1,200, $1,300 easy, I think, for that one. So I think for an AFA 80 21-back A, again, it was punched, and it had some sticker residue on the card, but $10.25 seems to be market. I mean, in the current environment, that seems like a fair price. Here's another really cool one that sold. This one's been on the market for a little bit, and I know this seller. I bought from the seller, so I know this is a legitimate sale. This is an Empire Strikes Back store display, and this has been on the market for a little bit, but it was graded by CAS, and it was graded 75 plus. You know, this is the kind of thing you just don't see very often, and I mean, I know this has been on the market for a very, very long time, but how cool is that? So these would be at point of purchase displays in retail back in 1981. That sold for $4,000, 4,000 big ones. But Again, I know that seller's legit because I bought some really beautiful items from that seller a number of times, and just a really cool store display that you don't see very often, and very nicely encased by CAS. Here is another interesting one. We got a 41 back AFA 75 Chewbacca, unpunched, really pretty card. It's the subgrades were 80, 75, 85. Pretty harsh to get to have a card sub score of an 80, a figure 85 score, and the blister score brought it all the way down. I don't know why it got a 75. It's hard to tell in the photos, but that seemed like a pretty harsh score for a really nice item. And it was listed as clear blister. It looks like it might have just a little bit of yellowing going on, but that's a really pretty Chewbacca. That one sold for $638. That was up in Canada. Here was another one from that same seller with the 20 back Leia. This was an unpunched AFA 85 41 back B Stormtrooper. So another gorgeous item. This is straight 85s, unpunched. And I mean, this guy has every single beautiful card back out there in very high grade. That one sold for $3,899 plus $75 shipping. So I've never bought from this seller just because his items are way, way beyond my budget. But that is a beautiful Stormtrooper. So 41 back B, AFA 85, almost $4,000. Just wild numbers. Here was a really cool one. It was lower grade, but I was tempted on this one. This is a Canadian ESB with the Star Wars display arena. I guess it's a 48 back. No, it's 45 back. 45 back. Canadian card back. So it's got the L'Empire contre-attaque, La Guerre des Étoiles, and all the French language there. But this is a tough one to find. You don't see these 45 back ESB Canadian card backs very often. It was yellowed and probably I'd say like a 70 condition at best. That sold for a great price, though. $171. What a deal. I thought that was a great deal for a very difficult to find foreign card back. All right. We're going to talk about this one now, even though I don't want to. But Brian's Toys had this one listed. It was an ESB vinyl carrying case graded AFA 80. And beautiful item. Don't get me wrong. Beautiful item. But it was sold at auction for $910. And then it was immediately relisted. Okay. And is it possible that the buyer didn't pay? Yes. But I have heard whispers that there is a lot of shenanigans going on with Brian Toys auctions. I bought from Brian Toys, so I'm not, I don't know any of this for a fact. I'm not accusing him, but it sold, and then less than 24 hours later, it was relisted. So that's usually a bad sign that there's something going on, and maybe some shill bidding going on. Again, I have nothing to prove that, but it was listed at auction, and then it was relisted very quickly thereafter that for a buy it now price that was higher than what the final sales price was. So take that for what you will, but at least the market seems to dictate that the vinyl carrying case with the Wampa in the top right sold for $910 shipped. So that was the final bid price on this one. There's obviously several different ESB cases out there. I know that there's one with Yoda in the top right, but this is my favorite one. I like this one a lot. There's another one I think that has the bounty hunters on there, as well as a cloud car zooming by on Bespin. But this is a really nice carrying case. I like that. I think I like the other one better, maybe. I can't remember. But this one's really cool, though. I like the stylized Wampa. I think that's really cool how they do that. Not a huge fan of the way that Yoda looks there, but I mean, whatever. This is an awesome case. Awesome case. But just be cautious, okay? All I'm trying to say is be cautious with some of these auctions that are out there, because this one was relisted very quickly thereafter. Now, let's go back to Toy Scout. Toy Scout is a seller I've not dealt with, but I have heard bad things about. And in my last market update video for loose graded vintage Star Wars items, I did hear back from a number of you that says, hey, I bought from Toy Scout with no problems at all. So that's a good sign for those of you who maybe are on eBay and see some more of his items come up at auction. I mean, this was a great deal, This was a clear blister Yoda, and I think it was a 65 back. Yeah, 65 back B, CAS graded 80. The grade was 80, 85, 90. So barely squeaked out an 80. So probably like an AFA 75 plus if you were going by AFA's standards, but it looked a lot better than that. I mean, it looked beautiful based on the limited photos, but it was unpunched, clear blister, and it sold for $632. $632. That's a very, very low price in my opinion. I think it's probably worth more than that. Even at, even let's say this was regraded by AFA and it came back with a 75 plus. I still think 632 is a pretty darn good number for a clear blister Return of the Jedi Yoda. I probably should have bid on that, but as you guys know, I just got that ESB R5D4, so funds are a little bit limited right now. But that was a beauty. And but anyway, I did want to mention that I have heard from a number of you guys that Toy Scout and his various eBay names over the years you've had good experiences with him, so that's a good sign. And he did, in all fairness, he's got 9,600 feedback with a 99.5% positive feedback. If you're doing 10,000 transactions on eBay, the chances of you having 100% positive feedback are almost zero. It's just too hard to please everybody when you have that. It's like my videos, right? You guys watch my videos. I don't make everybody happy with my videos. I get thumbs down occasionally. I prefer you guys give me a thumbs up and comment below, but I do get thumbs down occasionally, and that's okay. I can't please everybody, but I try to please the majority of you guys. And so that's what, that's how I feel about you. If you got that many transactions, you're gonna make somebody mad, or something's gonna get screwed up or lost or damaged in shipping. It just happens. But anyway, I thought that was a great price for that Yoda. Here was another one, a 65 back B AFA 75 Luke Jedi. It was unpunched. And it did have a yellow blister, but man, that's an awfully nice one. I think I've got that one. I can't remember. That one sold for $569. $569 plus shipping. That was down in Australia. And hello to all my Australian viewers. I've got a few of you guys out there. This is one I was watching pretty closely. I wanted it so bad, but it was just too expensive in my opinion. This was a 77 back 4 long clear blister. Really nice item, unpunched. It had the KB toy sticker. And it was graded CAS 80 plus. Very, very high grade. 80, 85, 90 were the subgrades. That sold for $600. For me, that would have been about $660 after state sales tax. So I think for a Return of the Jedi, and although it is 4-LOM, he's hard to find in general, but I just thought that was a little too high. I think it was 500, 550 maybe on the top end. I probably would have pulled the trigger, but I think it's 660. That's a little high for my budget. Going back to what I promised in the beginning of the video, I do have some more boxed items. This was a Palitoy Clipper AFA uncirculated 85 INT4 on the Return of the Jedi box. And again, it's the buy logo with multiple languages there. And I don't know if you call it, I guess you call it the buy logo because it's got the Return of the Jedi plus the La Guerre des Étoiles French logo on there. So this is the buy logo, but it's uncirculated. So that means somebody had a factory sealed case of these things and sent them all into AFA for uncirculated grading. That, it does happen. I'm not trying to say it's like a unicorn farting in the woods, but it does happen. But it's not that common. And so these uncirculated mini rigs do usually command big dollars, but it's all for $326 plus shipping. I thought that was a great deal. That's a great price. Whoever got that one. Very nice item. And here was a CAS 85 Jabba the Hutt sealed box. Now this is like the line art version. I think these were Sears exclusives. Don't quote me on that. Line art dealer box is the way it's labeled. But it was a CAS 85, so very, very high grade. I'm not sure whether that's true about it being a Sears exclusive, but it's listed as a quote unquote dealer box. So not quite as pretty as the the colorful retail version, but still a pretty cool item. And that one still sold for $1,400. $1,400 plus $75 shipping on that one. And then I think I've got a few tri-logos here. I don't know what else, but this is a ungraded tri-logo, Palitoy tri-logo A-Wing palette. So another last 17 data point for those of you looking out there. The card back was pretty rough. I mean, the card and the blister were pretty rough. Probably an overall 70 at best is my guess on that one. That one sold for $355, which to me, that's not a bad deal, really. I mean, if you think about it, the ungraded A-Wing pilots complete can go for, about that price or maybe a little bit less than that. What, $250? I'm sure Chris over at Rogue 5 Toys will chime in with what price he charges for a near mint A-Wing pilot loose and complete, but $355 for that I think is actually a pretty good deal for a mint on card example. Here was a CAS 75 tri-logo unpunched Hoth Stormtrooper, really nice item there. The subgrades were 80, 75, 80. So again, the blister, as you can see, it's got quite a bit of dings on it, and it brought the overall score down to a 75, which is fair. That's probably the right score. That one sold for $720, $720 plus shipping of $33. So big boy numbers there for a Health Stormtrooper tri-logo. And here was a really cool one that sold over in the UK. This was a Power of the Force skiff, mint and sealed box, graded by UKG, graded 75. It sold for $3,044, which I actually think that price is pretty much in line with market, because I've seen some ungraded mint and sealed box examples of the Tatooine skiff sell for over $2,000 on Facebook. So to get a graded example like that, that's mint and sealed box, I don't think that final sales price number is too far off of market value. And then finally, I wanted to show you this one. I just found it randomly, but this was pretty cool. This was a Nintendo 64 Rogue Squadron UKG 80 Plus graded video game. So this is from the Nintendo 64. I played the heck out of this game. I love this game. And this was the PAL version over in Europe. So very difficult to find that one. That one sold for $1,211. So big boy money there for a sealed, graded Nintendo 64 Rogue Squadron game. So I just wanted to throw that one in there because I thought people would be shocked by that sales price. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing. Please leave any comments below and like the video. And I'll be back soon with more content. I appreciate you watching.